All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amber TV, ABC Amber TV, coming to you all the way from the great state of Texas, here in the USA. It's a pleasure to come to you today with a very exciting broadcast with a lineup of guests who are going to rightly divide the issues of the day. I want to welcome all of you on Ground Zero, especially the Amber restoration fighters in every nook and cranny of Amazonia, from Fako to Incambe, all of you who are defending homeland, all of you putting your lives on the line to defend Amazonia. I want to especially welcome you to ABC Live tonight. And of course, all of you, the refugees on Ground One who were celebrating the Refugee Day last week, we did not have anything to say. ABC did not have anything to say about the celebration, but I can assure you we have something in line that we shall be bringing to you in the days ahead. The pictures, the footages from the refugee, and the food items that were brought there. We have all those footages, and in the course of the week we are preparing a special report of that event. So thank all of you for staying courageous, resilient in spite of all the difficulties, the trials, the pain that you go through on Ground One and on Ground Two also. So thank you for tuning in. I'm not forgetting all of you in the diaspora. There is gas in the engine of this revolution, ladies and gentlemen, because of you in the diaspora. Because of you in the diaspora. Give me 1 second here for this interruption. I got to turn it off. All right, so again, for all of you in the diaspora, you are welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome. And for all of you in the USA, Canada, Latin America, it's a pleasure. And I won't forget our supporters out there, or fans of ABC Amber Television out there in Angola, in Kenya, in Sierra Leone, in Gabon, in the two Congos, all over the place. Now, these are the ones that I know. I have no doubt that ABC is being widely watched over there in Africa. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in today. I have a breaking story that I will be bringing to you today. La Republique du Cameroon is up to something this time. It appears that they are not very satisfied with the fact that they have some of our leaders in their custody. This time they plan to assassinate some of the leaders right here at the interim government. I will bring you that piece of that story in the course of the program. But before I do that, let us quickly populate this platform. I have with me today Mtumfoin Bo Herbert coming up. Bishop John Igiawan will also join, and Barrister John Frunso will also be joining, all of them together in tonight's panel. So please do me a favor and do Ground Zero and everyone watching on television a favor. If you are watching by way of Facebook, go ahead and hit your share button. The moment you give me 700 people on this Facebook platform, I should come to you with this presentation proper, and we are getting there really soon. I see We're hitting close to 500, I guess, by now. So please go ahead, hit your share button. Hit your share button if you are watching right here, right on Facebook. Go ahead, hit your share button, please. Let us populate the Facebook platform. All right. I am waiting for you to give me those numbers, and while you do so, let me know. Let me see who is joining here. Let me see who is joining the broadcast. Okay. All right. Hit your share button, ladies and gentlemen, as you join the broadcast. Let us get it up to 700 in the next few minutes, and I will come to you with the presentation proper. So go ahead, hit your share button. Go ahead, hit your share button. All right. Please hit your share button. We are almost hitting 500. And why you do so? What a wonderful day to be alive. Yesterday was Momo's World Draft. And we shall be talking about that. And Momo, they set up a new record. I thought Mezam was going to be the best drafter in this exercise. But Momo yesterday did something that I do not see any county going to beat that record. Yesterday, Momo drafted close to $700,000, ladies and gentlemen. Momo drafted close to $700,000 in 3 hours. The exact amount, $647,000. That is about 300 million, and about 315 million around that. No, about 320 something million CFA francs. I don't like to use a CFA francs because it's a foreign currency. We are soon going to get rid of that. But for now, that is what we're still using. But so that the man on ground zero understands the equivalent of $647,000. That is what, that's the way I have to put it. So that is what Momo came up with yesterday. Now I understand that there is commotion in Yaoundé, and the elites of French Cameroon, we have learned, are about conducting their own draft.
Yes.
They are about conducting their own draft in Yaoundé, their own draft for the war. Let's see what they come out with. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with billions, because they got the money and they want to keep their money. They have to save their money. Yes, so let me see, ladies and gentlemen, the numbers are rising, getting close to 600. In the next 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to have 700 before I can come to you with this presentation. I can see Zoe Anderson joining, Brown Love. I see you, sir. Elias Sabo. I see you, Juma, Silvanus. All right, yes, as you join, go ahead and hit your share button. Magdalene Doe. I see you. Daki Landers. Amber Landers. Thank you. I see you. Ngaribu Love. Okay. Richard Abaiwe. I see you, sir. Alphonse in Jukang, I see you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you hit your share button to send the information for this broadcast around the social media, I just want to make one statement here concerning a video footage that is making the rounds on the social media of a good number of Ambazonians in a community called Bua Bua. I understand it is in Menchum. We see a massive number of people running out of that village because of attacks by French Cameroon. We got wind of that video footage, and we are still investigating that video footage because apparently that did not happen within the week. It happened about possibly more than a month ago. We have made all the phone calls, and they found out that not even the fighters in that community have been able to determine when that event took place. But apparently it took place there. We are still trying to find out exactly when that happened. I'm saying I have to say this because lots of people expect us to broadcast that piece of video. We cannot just put video on your screen without knowing when and how and where it happened. So we are still trying to investigate that piece of footage. All right. We are almost there, less than 100 to go, but I think I will have to go on and start this broadcast proper. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's again a privilege to come to you tonight. For those of you on Ground Zero, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you, all of you on Ground One, also for tuning in. And today we've got so much to discuss. We're going to be talking about a lockdown that has been declared for all of the Northern Zone. And I will also take the privilege today to announce a lockdown for the Southern Zone. Ladies and gentlemen, and I will actually start with that. As you find it on your screen, the interim government is announcing a lockdown for the Southern Zone. Yesterday, we came out and announced a lockdown for the Northern Zone that is currently being observed for 3 days, beginning today, Monday, through tomorrow, Tuesday, ending on Wednesday. Many people are still asking the reason for the lockdown, especially when it came in an impromptu, abrupt manner. The fact is that we will continue to conduct these lockdowns for as long as French Cameroon continue to develop ploys to end this war without going to the negotiation table. A few days ago, the colonial governor of the Northern Zone sent out a press statement to the effect that Paul Tassong, the Minister of Economy, Assistant Minister of Economy in La Republique du Cameroon, the guy who is said to be leading the reconstruction so-called team in French Cameroon, will be visiting all the counties in the Northern Zone to sensitize the population in these communities of their plans to come and start reconstruction. We want Ambazonians to know that we will not allow French Cameroon to let the world believe for a second that the war is over and they now have to start reconstruction. The only time they will consider this war over is when French Cameroon agrees to sit on the mediation table with the leaders of this struggle to agree on the terms of our separation. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. To agree on the terms of our separation, not on the form of state. We have long left the era when we talked about form of state. When you hear anyone talking about form of state, they are referring to form of state between Ambazonia and La Republique du Cameroon. No, Ambazonia knows its form of state. It is about independence, sovereignty. We are no longer going to talk about form of state with French Cameroon. We are talking about the independence, freedom, sovereignty for the southern Cameroons. And so, until French Cameroon comes to the negotiation table, discuss with us in the presence of international partners and the United Nations, we are not going to say that this war is over. And we will not allow French Cameroon to erect a single stone in the name of reconstruction in the territory that is called Ambazonia. So, if you are on ground zero, the reason we have called for a lockdown is because French Cameroon is about to play the fast one, a fast one on all of us. They are coming to survey the territory, to go back and tell the international community they have beaten the separatists, as they call us, and now reconstruction is about to start. So we are locking down Ambazonia to stop them from entering any of our territory. Let me say this, between today, Monday, and Wednesday, the 24th, any vehicle that is seen anywhere in the northern zone plying the roads and the streets will be considered one of those vehicles trying to transport Paul Tasson and his team, and we will take that vehicle off the streets or off the roads. You do not want to put your life in danger, please stay home and observe this lockdown. That is the reason for the lockdown. Now, we have also seen the detailed plan of this sensitization campaign by French Cameroon reconstruction team. They are going to be in the northern zone between today, Monday, and Wednesday. Their mission ends on Wednesday. Now, according to their calendar of activities, they will be in the southern zone next week, beginning Monday through Thursday. They will be in the southern zone, ladies and gentlemen, beginning Monday through Thursday. And that is also, of course, the reason why the interim government is calling for a complete, total lockdown of the southern zone. We do not want to see a chicken on the street. Not even a pin. A pin should be seen on the streets out there in the southern zone. Victoria should take note. Boya should take note. Kumba to take note. Every county in the southern zone to take note. We are going to paralyze every form of activity in the southern zone next week, beginning Monday. The northern zone is observing it this week. Next week it will be the southern zone. It is ending on Thursday, not Wednesday as per the northern zone, because according to their calendar of activity, their trip to the southern zone ends on Thursday, the 2nd of July. The 2nd of July. That is the only reason why the lockdown in the southern zone shall not be ending on Wednesday as in the northern zone. So, lockdown in the southern zone starts on Monday. Monday is a regular ghost town day. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, life gets back to normal. So please, we really wish that everyone on Ground Zero cooperate in this lockdown. We have to let La Republique du Cameroon know we own Ambazonia, we control Ambazonia. They cannot come into our territory and choose to do what they just want to do. And that we are against any form of reconstruction where they are still killing our people and where we still have military camps set up by them in our territory. It is only when these camps are gone, it is only when French Cameroon troops are withdrawn from our territory that we can say the war is over with a negotiated settlement that leads to a free and independent Southern Cameroon. So until then, we will keep on fighting. We will keep on fighting, ladies and gentlemen. So that is it for the lockdown of the northern zone and the southern zone. Now, I am joined here by Comrade John Egiawan, who is the Secretary of Defense here at the interim government. And he will be telling us about the preparedness of the restoration forces on the ground to enforce these lockdowns in the northern zone and in the southern zone. Comrade John, it's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Secretary Chris. My greetings to all the ABC Amazonia TV viewers. Greetings to all the wonderful restoration forces on Ground Zero. I greet you all.
Okay, you know that everybody on Ground Zero wants to know how effective this lockdown is going to be. You are the Secretary of Defense, and the boys on the ground are all under your control. Tell us how effective this lockdown is going to be, going by what you know.
Secretary Chris, I can tell you that every restoration fighter in Amazonia that is fighting for this revolution has the will to affect any decision that is taken by the interim government or the Amazonia National Self-Defense Council for the sake of this revolution. Every Amazonia should also have the will to do whatever it takes to make sure La Republique does not play a fast one, as you call it, on us. Concerning this, their reconstruction. It's true they say it is only in Cameroon that impossible is not a word. Because I cannot understand why La Republique still goes everywhere in Amazonia, killing innocent civilians, burning down villages, burning down houses, arresting people. In one report, La Republique even took civilians as human shield. And to tell you how disciplined our boys were, they did not fire. They had to let La Republique go because of the casualty that was going to be on our innocent civilian. La Republique is using our civilian as human shield. So, Secretary Chris, our people, the Amazonia Restoration Forces on Ground Zero, are ready. They are determined. Yes, we know that there are challenges based on terrain. You know that this war was brought to us. We didn't plan to fight a war. We wanted to resolve our problem peacefully, but the war was brought to us. And our people have been fighting for the past 3 and something years, 3 years plus, to defend themselves, and they have been doing a very great job. Despite some people on the ground who has given up on the fight, some of them who have become so selfish and self-centered, some of them who have abandoned the code of freedom fighters. We know they are out there compromising with our enemies, compromising with some La Republique agents. We know they are out there, but on the greater part of boys, the restoration fighters or the Amazonia restoration fighters on Ground Zero, they are ready. They are ready. They are not ready because we are telling them to. They are ready because they took a decision to be freedom fighters, because they took a decision to defend Amazonia. They took a decision to protect the interests of the people of Amazonia. That's why I can tell you that they are ready, and they are out there, and they will be ready more ready than they have ever been as we go forward.
All right. Bishop John, you know that there is a lot of concern on ground zero, especially with the southern zone. FACO in particular, things have not been as expected. And when I mean things, when I say things, I mean the ability of our restoration forces to go after the institutions, the targets that they ought to be going after. You know, things have been really slow. You hear audios out there and people lamenting what is going on. Do you see them capable of implementing this lockdown?
Secretary Chris, yes, everybody sees that FACO has a lot of metropolitan cities like Victoria, like Boya, like Tico. We see that fighting in these cities is a very great challenge for our fighters who are guerrilla fighters. So yes, it is very evident that the force you see in other parts of Ambazonia is not being felt here. But I want to make it clear to every Ambazonian that, you know, like I told you when I was here before, the restoration forces in FACO have carried out some very silent but very effective operation in trying to bring out the economic sabotage on FACO, like the Court of Appeal, the CRTV, and the council building, and more. You see, we have to fight in a different way in FACO. But I want to make it very clear to us Ambazonians is that as the fight proceeds, we are also learning from our mistakes and we are making adjustments. We are learning as we go because we went. So the situation in FACO is a situation that we are still learning and we are planning and taking action in the back. And we will come up with appropriate action and appropriate response to La Republique in FACO. So I want to encourage the Ambazonians to not see what is happening and think that we have given up on FACO or things are not happening in FACO. We have some challenges that we have come to understand and we have learned. And we are taking the appropriate action on how to tackle them. Sometimes you don't just rush into situation, you study and you come up with the appropriate response to the things that are happening on the ground. Yes, we have many challenges in FACO, especially Boya, Victoria. Some is because of the heavy presence of the colonial forces. Some is because of some commanders who have taken bribe. Commanders have taken bribe from La Republique elites, and some commanders are preventing other people from fighting. We know of some commanders fighting each other. This all we know, and then we know of the heavy presence of fake amber boys that are in these two places. So there are many things, Secretary Chris, that are a challenge to us in FACO, and we are working something out. We are working something out to deal with that appropriately. I will not spill it out, but I want the Ambazonian people to know everywhere that the situation in FACO is being addressed. The situation in FACO is being looked into seriously, and actions are being planned to deal with that situation in FACO, both internally and externally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Talking about indiscipline, there is a statement that is circulating today from Bafut, from the 7 Qatas. They are suspending one of their generals, General Tiger. I don't know whether you have seen the official statement from General Qatar sent out through Bafut LGA. Now, if fighters on the ground, in fact, FACO in particular, are becoming that irresponsible, as you said, why not? Why should they not be disciplined?
Secretary Chris, like I said, you know, this war, we were dragged into this war. We didn't have the mechanism, we didn't have the structure in place, but you see how far we have evolved. Ambazonia has grew very fast. And the mechanism to discipline some of these commanders has not been in place in the past. But that's not going to be the case moving forward. The Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council has taken measures and have come up with very strong resolutions and mechanism on how to tackle recalcitrant commanders. Commanders who have abandoned the freedom fighting into fighting for themselves and disturbing the population. Yes, but I want us to know that those are not the majority of cases that we have. One of the greatest challenges we have is disciplining those who are just share thieves, people who blackmail or who spoil the name of the Ambazonian Restoration Forces for their own personal interest. And people see them. When people see these people in the street, they just conclude that these are restoration fighters. But not everyone you see there dressed as an Amber boy is actually fighting for the revolution. A lot of them, as we have come to discover, are fighting for their personal selves. They are making money for themselves, building houses and taking money out of Ambazonia to other places like neighboring Nigeria and building homes, buying lands there, buying vehicles. We have that and we've seen that. But like I said, the Ambazonian National Self-Defense Council has taken measures to address that.
Ambazonian fighters are actually in Nigeria. Ambazonian fighters are actually in Nigeria buying land, building homes over there?
Yes.
With whose money?
There are some Ambazonian fighters who have exported money to Nigeria to build homes and to buy land and vehicles. Yes, like I said, these are not people who are fighting for the revolution. Not everybody who carry a weapon that they are fighting, they are Ambazonian, is fighting for Ambazonia. They are these people. So these are the challenges that we have. You have also the boys that are Tanganji boys that have been hired to act as if they are Ambazonian people and to give a bad image to the Ambazonia Restoration Forces. We have them. Then you have also La Republique soldiers who are very hungry, and because they have the weapons and the ammunition, they take on themselves to be like Amber boys and going around harassing people and taking money. But these innocent civilians do not know the difference. And when they see these people, they think that all is Ambazonian Restoration Fighters. Secretary Chris, we have a lot of fake people there on the ground. And that's why the Ambazonian National Self-Defense Council has taken very strict measures and is coming up with a serious mechanism to deal with all these internal discrepancies in Ambazonia.
All right, thank you. This discussion is about the lockdown owing to the so-called reconstruction that French Cameroon plans on carrying out in our territory. And I am also joined by the one and only Barrister Fru John Nso and Ntumfoin Bo Herbert. Let me start with Ntumfoin. This reconstruction exercise is like a slap on our face if it should go on. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you are not, Secretary Chris. First, let me thank Ambazonians who are connected and watching ABC TV. Thank everyone who is on ground zero, who have picked up arms and are fighting to defend our people who are in jail, heroes who are in jail, our people, our mothers and sisters and brothers at home who are committed to this lockdown and who are staying at home to observe the lockdown. My greetings to everyone who from the diaspora is funding the self-defense effort at home, and everyone who is supporting all other initiatives, including the legal battles that we have to bring against La Republique Cameroon. I think Bishop John touched on something when he was speaking. He said that this place called La Republique Cameroon is the only place where if you understand anything, something must be wrong with your head. You know, it's the one place where if you drive down straight on the road, you must be mad because of just how many potholes. It's the same thing when you go to any other thing that has happened in any other normal place. In any war, the timing and sequencing of the different actions in war, whether you go through the war period and then you get into the disarmament, the demobilization, the reintegration, that happened in La République du Cameroun the call for a disarmament and demobilization and reintegration, even before there was a ceasefire. Now, you have to be living in some kind of cocoon to think that that happens. Just the same way they have now called for a reconstruction before the war is even over. These are the same people who called for, for the lifting of COVID-19 lockdown provisions before COVID-19 was even getting started. This is the place where, they will tell you that Mr. Biya has won elections before everyone has voted. So welcome to the zoo that is called La République du Cameroun. And it is one of the reasons why the people of Ambazonia must have nothing to do with these people. Now, if they intend to slap the people of Ambazonia in the face by talking about reconstruction, they should know that it will never happen. They have been toying with the idea of reconstructing the ring road. The French have given them backing for them to get the money from the African Development Bank. They are to the third phase of funding from the African Development Bank, but they have not put 1 kilometer of tar on that road. And they know why they cannot put 1 kilometer of tar. The UN, the UNDP, which was standing behind them to say, we are going to back you in reconstruction, they know why they cannot put 1 kilometer of tar. The French who are luring them into this game, who lost the war in Vietnam, lost the war in Madagascar, lost the war in Algeria, they know what is coming to La République du Cameroun. They are going to lose this war. It doesn't matter how long it takes.
Absolutely, and that is just the way I feel. I am wondering why, Barrister John, they are even talking about reconstruction when there is no road to get into Bamenda. Have you seen the road from Bunda leading to Bamenda? How are they going to get to Bamenda without a road to Bamenda, Barrister John?
It can only happen in Cameroon, Chris. I've listened very carefully to the Secretary of State for Defense, and I want all of us not to be discouraged because it happens in all the other revolutions. So we shall overcome. It surprises me, Chris, is that La République is calling for reconstruction. The United Nations, I just listened, a group of people around the world are calling for a ceasefire for humanitarian reasons because of COVID-19. Mimi asks a very important question. Which is important? The conflict or COVID-19 that has just arrived? And the man he was interviewing babbled. But let me tell you, Chris, La République du Cameroun will not succeed. Let me tell you their modus operandi. Paul Tasson and Donatus Njong. I'm very surprised with the attitude of Donatus Njong. Paul Tasson and Donatus Njong have put together a scheme where they want the names of all the traditional rulers in the northern zone. They want the traditional rulers, they are dishing out money to traditional rulers to form vigilante groups. And these vigilante groups will go after our Amber boys, bring them to the military to pave the way for reconstruction. Is that how they do reconstruction after war? What kind of government does La République du Cameroun have? I have never seen this happen anywhere in the world. Look at all the conflicts around the world. La République du Cameroun is not serious. And if Paul Tasson and Donatus Njong think that they can get the funds to form vigilante groups and bring Amber boys to them, I am informing them now that the funds who will be involved in that scheme and the vigilante groups will be legitimate target of the restoration forces of Ambazonia. I'm talking under the control of the Secretary of State for Defense. Because they did that in Donga Manto, and you saw what happened in Gabu. They killed our children, our women, and men. A horrible massacre using the so-called vigilante groups fighting alongside the army. We will not allow that to repeat itself anywhere in Ambazonia. That is the thing. How can you talk about the construction when from Bunda, Chris, from Bunda to Bamenda is a living hell? I don't see how even it is even look, the rainy seasons are coming in our part of the world. You cannot spend less than 3 hours from Bunda to Bamenda because of the nature of the road. Then they want to come and reconstruct in Amazonia. Like you said, Chris, not one stone will be planted by La Republique of Cameroon in Amazonia until this war has been ended, mediation done, we have had our sovereignty, and we will do the reconstruction of our nation. Of course, they will pay for it. They will pay for it to follow negotiations.
Into fun, if I may get back to you, thanks, Barrister John. What message would you pass to these chiefs and so-called community leaders, NGO leaders, whom Paul Tassong and his team hope to meet in these counties?
Well, you know, it's a message that is being sent to them today by the living and the dead. Just look at what is happening to the previous elite of the northern zone and the southern zone. Look at where they are dying and look at where they are getting buried. Why are they not returning to Amazonia? Because they know they are rejected. They will not be welcome. So everyone who is leaving can look to the dead to tell them exactly in what kind of dustbin of history we will put their memory. If they don't line up with our people, and it is not a plea we are making with them, a majority of our people stand with this war. International law stands with us with respect to this war. What we demand of the international community has been granted to us under international law and under provisions of the United Nations resolutions and under rulings by international courts, including like the court in Banjul. We are not negotiating. We are asking the world, a cowardly world that is unable to deliver for our people that which they themselves told us belongs to us by right. The United Nations is shaming its entire reputation. And because they are kissing up to the French, I like to recall that after Mr. Biya, who is a people president of the French, when he went to Lyon on the 10th of October to deliver his report card to Macron, who is his grandson, to tell Macron how good a slave plantation manager he has been, and he has been an awful slave plantation manager, Mr. Macron then dispatched his Minister of Foreign Affairs to Yaoundé to meet with the people, now walking dead, and tell him exactly how the French intend to prosecute the war in Amazonia. That war in Amazonia right now is not being fought by La République du Cameroun. It is being fought by the French. They put in place the plan from the 24th of October when the French foreign minister was in La République du Cameroun. And they took over the same methods that they used in Algeria against our people. They determined that they will see no torture, that there will not be a war crime that they will not commit, that there will not be a part of genocide that they will not do, that there will be nothing that Hitler did that they will not do. And we have been seeing it in the forms of what Ngabu has turned out. We are seeing it in Boa Boa, of refugees moving out in streams, rivers of refugees, in the middle of the celebration of World Refugee Day. We are seeing the French show the extent to which they are animals, monsters. I mean, we thought they did it in Vietnam and they were ashamed of it. We thought they were done when they did it in Algeria. Let me tell you, there were 1.5 million French soldiers that fought in Algeria because they wanted Algeria to become a part of France. Today, they consider that French-speaking Africa is a part of France. Well, they may take over that part. We don't care. If the Francophones want to let it happen, that's okay. But there is always, you go and start a fight with the wrong people. They have started a fight with the wrong people. The people of Amazonia will humiliate the French in the Cameroons. And not only will we do that, we will make sure that the rest of Francophone Africa kicks the French out of their land, because the French are doing in French Africa what slavery did to the people to the African American people of the United States. And because they fought their revolution halfway, they're having to fight it today in the George Floyd era. We cannot leave this revolution halfway. We are going to fight it to the finish. And if you are joining, if you want to join as an enabler of the French, go and read up on the Algerian Revolution. You will find out what the French did to the Algerians. The French, when it was time, the French delivered Algerians who were fighting for them. They delivered them to the pro-independence movement so that they can be massacred. A few of them were taken to France and they were held in zoos in France. They were never ever recognized. They are the same people that are being tortured today. So if you pick up your gun to fight on behalf of La République du Cameroun, on behalf of the French, which some people have done in the northern zone, I mean in the 3 northern zones of La République du Cameroun, the same people that they have exported now to Ambazonia, and they are fighting as a militia. When you hear La République du Cameroun say that they are recruiting a militia in the northern and southern zone, it is a lie. They are moving the 14,000 armed civilians that they had in the north, Boko Haram fighters who were fighting against Boko Haram. There were 14,000 of them. They are moving a substantial amount of them into Ambazonia to fight on their behalf. That is what is happening. And the world is watching, and the United Nations knows, everybody knows that this is going on, and they're letting that genocide unfold. Well, they will meet Ambazonia in court.
Thank you. Bishop John, let me get back to you, sir. We are hearing of these vigilante groups that French Cameroon, La République du Cameroun, is building on the ground and using them to fight against our legitimate forces. And they will be using them. They will be using them during this their so-called sensitization tour and their reconstruction, I guess. Tell me, what is the department doing to make sure that these vigilante groups are eradicated completely from ground zero?
Secretary Chris, I want to go on record to the whole world and to the people of Ambazonia to know that Ambazonia will not settle for anything less than the independence. It therefore means anybody, whether it's a chief, a vigilante, Bororo, fake Amber boys, whoever it is, elites, CPDM, whoever it is, that shall choose to be on the opposite side of the independence of Ambazonia has automatically become an enemy to this revolution. Anybody who is against this revolution, our independence, has automatically become an enemy and shall be treated as such, as an enemy. So nobody is free. Anyone, Sir Chris, look at what happened in the United States during the slave times. The slave master or the slave owners had to use other blacks or other slaves to be like masters or leaders over other slaves, even though they were slaves. And these people were spying on other slaves and telling on other slaves, whereas they were also slaves, because maybe they gave them a morsel of meat or put them to sit in the table while the other people were outside. So they thought that they were better than the other people were slaves. That is what is happening in Ambazonia right now. There are some certain Ambazonia who have sold their conscience and they have become agents to the slave master. And they are behaving just the same way, selling their brothers and thinking that they are free. They are not free. Just like my senior comrade has said here, that these people think that, I mean, those who are living should learn from the dead, should learn from this other elite, that La République is just using them as toilet roll. As long as you are a slave, La République can give you how much money they want to give you to fight or to betray, to tell on our restoration fighters. And if you do that, you think that you are freeing yourself. You are not freeing yourself. Just like Comrade Boy is saying here, they will give you out. When that time comes, they will say, you are the one who did it. You are the one who did it. and you will be held responsible. Even if you are free to leave after this war, if we do not fall into the hands of our restoration forces, the international community will get you for committing crime. The whole world know that Ambazonia is fighting a just war. And I'm not shy to say it here. Even if it is my father who go against this revolution, let him be slaughtered. They will kill him. Because it is either you kill them or they kill you. That's how it is. So I want to give a strong message to the restoration fighters on the ground. Let me tell you, you don't play with an enemy. You don't smile with an enemy. When you are faced with your enemy, you shoot to kill, or that enemy is going to kill you. That's what I was trained as a soldier, and that's why we aim at Cinemax. Because if you miss your enemy might not miss you. So stop making play marry with the enemy. You don't play with a snake. Snake is always going to be a snake. You don't play with Satan. Satan has no room for repentance. So all enablers, all anti-revolutionaries, all vigilantes, CPDM people who are giving CPDM or the La Republique government the opportunity to still continue to commit atrocities in Ambazonia, they are all enemies. Watch my lip. They are enemies. And we will treat them as such. And anybody who compromises with an enemy is also an enemy. That's what I can tell you, Secretary Chris.
All right, thank you. Barrister John, that French Cameroon is at this moment talking about reconstruction without talking about mediation or negotiation is evidence that they are not ready. They are not ready to get to the Swiss talks. Both of you, you and Tumfon can take this, but let me start with you, Barrister John.
I concur with you, Chris, that they are not ready. They have never been ready. Let me tell you, La Republique, when they had a regular government, they had the opportunity to meet us in Switzerland. They have been dilly-dallying. Now that they don't have a government, I mean to say they don't have a government. There is La Republique is not under the control of anybody as we speak, except the French ambassador. How then do they come to the negotiating table at this time? And how then will they do a reconstruction at this time? Me, I believe that it is a ploy to infiltrate our people, to infiltrate our Amber boys, and to bring our chiefs at loggerheads with our population by asking them to create vigilante groups. They have never been ready. La Republique, I don't know when they will put their act together. They are now fighting about what they call a transition from one power to the other. I don't know where this will end, but as far as Ambazonia is concerned, we are fighting La Republique as if they are there. Then we will continue to make sure that, like the Secretary of State said, an enemy is an enemy, and the friend of your enemy is an enemy.
Tumfon.
Yeah, let me come in here, Chris. I think what we have here is a situation where our people need again to understand why the Swiss-led process is the process for Ambazonia. Now, if La République du Cameroun knew that they had the legal documentation to prove a case, which they had in the case of Bakassi, they would have jumped for these negotiations, because they would have gone there and they would have proven, as they are claiming, that we are just terrorists, that we are just, terrorizing people in Ambazonia, and we have no backing for anything that we are doing. The reason they are running away from the table of negotiation, and the reason some people amongst us are facilitating that running away, is because La République doesn't have a document they can bring to the table. They cannot show one piece of document that gives them sovereignty over Ambazonia. They cannot show one piece of document that gives them a right to do what they're doing in Ambazonia today without that thing being repugnant to international law. and being contrary to UN-backed resolutions. That is the reason La République du Cameroon is not going to be ready and is never going to be ready. La République du Cameroon has to be dragged to the table of negotiation. That is the only way that they are going to come to the table of negotiation, and they will not be ready. The people that need to come also to that table of negotiation is Mr. Macron and his French government, because they are indeed the only sovereign power over this country that they have annexed from ever, and they have no intention to give up. La République du Cameroon is not an independent country. There is not a single thing that Mr. Biya can do without referencing Macron. And Macron has made it very clear that Mr. Biya reports to me. That is why he said, I will not receive him with respect to the meeting in Lyon until he executes my instructions of liberating Maurice Kamto. And there's a reason why they decided to release Maurice Kamto and not release Seseko Ayuk Tabe and the others. It is because Mr. Macron, who does not admit complicity in this war, who does not admit that he's leading the war, is in fact the barbarian who is leading this war. And he pretends, he hides behind Mr. Biya, and he hides behind beautiful speeches that he makes across Africa, claiming that this new France of which he belongs, this new France does not want to dictate to Africa. That is a lot of bull. The only thing the French have done to Africa, whether it was under de Gaulle or it was under Chirac or it was under Macron, the only thing they have done to Africa is to treat Africans as slaves, worse than the apartheid regime treated the people of South Africa. And it is time for the people of Ambazonia to mobilize the world in this moment of Black Lives Matter to make sure that when we collapse that French hegemony in Ambazonia, it collapses all across Africa. We are the people who should deliver that freedom to the rest of Africa.
Thank you. I will ask this question to all the three of you. What message would you want Ground Zero to receive? In other words, what should they do to make sure that there is nothing like reconstruction taking place when this war isn't yet over with a negotiated settlement? What will you say to the people on Ground Zero? Bo, I'll start with you again.
Okay, thank you very much, Secretary Chris. The first thing that the people of Ambazonia should know is that this is not a war that will be over and the French will walk home without reparations. This is not a war that will be over and La République du Cameroon will go home without paying reparations. We have put together an incredible team and we have done our homework. The people of Ambazonia will see who we will drag before international courts to bring the right side of compensation that the people of Ambazonia deserve, to bring the right side of damages that the people of Ambazonia deserve. Number two, we cannot allow people who do not even know how to plan a city, plan a small town, who cannot build a hut, to build anything in Ambazonia. Show me anything in La République du Cameroon that resembles something we would want to have in Ambazonia. So if they have not done for themselves, when Mr. Biya was made president of the Republic, his mother was still living in a hut. Okay? And my brother Chalindicha was pointing out to everyone when everyone was drunk with excitement about Mr. Biya, that if he could not do it for his family and for his mother, he could not do it for Cameroon, how right he was. So these people cannot build anything for Ambazonia. And so they are not qualified even to look at the bidding papers. They should not touch anything. For our people on the ground, what you are doing for your people today, those of you who are restoration forces, those of you who are joining the ghost towns every day, who are joining the lockdowns, who are implementing it, who are supporting. If you are an old mama and you roast only a sweet potato and you give to Amber boys, if you give them water, if you hide them when soldiers are looking for them, you are fighting a very decent war. And you should know that your future is guaranteed by a process of negotiation that we will make sure that we carry to the finish. And when we are done with that process, we will build an Ambazonia that the world will be jealous of, that La République du Cameroon citizens will want us to go over and overthrow their own government so that we can bring that kind of development to them. So we ask our people, there is nothing that comes without sacrifice. Even the Son of God had to die on the cross for us to get salvation. Our people are committing and consenting the right sacrifice today. And no one should tell them that they die in vain, because there is a generation of Ambas who will never let their death go in vain. And to my brother, Bishop John, who was worried about people who cross the border and taking money and building houses, those people are no longer Amber boys. They are no longer Amber Restoration Forces. These are bandits in the middle of this war. We should recognize them. Once they jump the fence, when they go out, we don't have control over them. We recognize that these were just highway robbers who integrated the movement, who came in and did a few armed robberies, and now they're looking after their estate. We should let them go. They are not part of us. We should not connect with anybody who is operating out of Nigeria. Our people are working in Ambazonia. The other thing that our people should be very clear about is we have never attacked Francophones, including those who are in our land. So we are committing no crimes against anyone. We have not attacked anyone in French-speaking Cameroon. We have an occupation force coming from another land to invade our land. And people of Ambazonia, please remember this. If you do nothing else, read up how the French always end up. There is not a single war, whether you go from Haiti to Vietnam to Madagascar, there is not a single war that the French have ever won anywhere on earth. They will not begin in Ambazonia.
All right, Barrister John, what message do you want Ground Zero? Do you need Ground Zero to know, to convince them this reconstruction is a ploy to sell them back to French Cameroon and they must not collaborate?
I will tell all Ambazonians on Ground Zero to be very watchful of anybody. I mean anybody talking about reconstruction at this time when we are still fighting. That is not reconstruction. You should be prepared. I call on the Amber Boys, no, not Amber Boys, our restoration forces to make sure that they take out anybody who is presenting himself as a contractor or somebody coming to do reconstruction, because the war is still on. They are still killing our people. They are still massacring our people everywhere in Ambazonia. Number two, do not accept any ceasefire coming as a result of COVID-19, because the Ambazonian people have decided that any ceasefire must be negotiated, and the terms agreed on how the ceasefire will be controlled. Even if La République declares a unilateral ceasefire, Ambazonia will not accept a unilateral ceasefire from La République until it is negotiated and we know that somebody will be controlling the actions of the actors on the ground. Please do not accept anybody coming in the name of humanitarian whatever, talking about COVID-19 and that lay down your arms and so that COVID-19 should not spread. We have been fighting before COVID-19 got here. We will fight both the war and COVID-19, with or without the United Nations humanitarian. If the United Nations is minded to have a humanitarian ceasefire, they should bring the parties together and negotiate the terms of that ceasefire. Until then, we will not accept unilateral ceasefire from La République. We will not accept unilateral ceasefire coming from the UN or anybody else, because we did not invite a war. The war was brought to us by La Republique du Cameroon. I will inform our people on the ground to be very watchful of any vigilante groups. Any vigilante group in your LGA or in your county should be taken out. Do not allow any vigilante group in your community. We are an English-speaking people, and we organize ourselves very well. Anybody who does not belong to the groups, to the organization that is laid down in your LGA, take them out. They are enemies. They are enemies. And I will pass this message to the funds of the northern zone and the southern zone. If you compromise with La Republique du Cameroon and take money, that you will form vigilante group, or you will conduct juju that will kill amber boys like we recently saw in Mate. This war, this revolution is a God-driven revolution. You will go nowhere with that. But we are saying that any fund who has done it and who is trying to recruit vigilante groups on the ground is a legitimate target, because we are at war. That is my advice to our people on the ground.
All right. Bishop John, what will you say? What will be your message to any potential contractors that French Cameroon would want to bring on the ground to start this reconstruction? They are talking about hospitals, schools, roads, and so on and so forth. And they are actually still talking about using local contractors. What message do you give to these contractors who would want to build on the graves of dead Ambazonians?
Yeah, Secretary Chris, I have a lot of message for these people. I have given a message to the United Nations, whether Development Fund or whatever they call, through their agents or whoever is representing them in that part of the world, that they should let the United Nations know that we do not want any reconstruction, and that any United Nations person, in fact, I have told the Ambazonian Restoration Forces that anybody they see, it doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the nationality, it doesn't matter the type of cap they are wearing, come into Ambazonia to carry out any type of reconstruction, they should be considered enemy and they should be treated as such. The worst they can do for that kind of person. Let me tell you something, Secretary Chris. I want to extend this message, and I want some commanders on the ground to know. There are elites, there are business people in Ambazonia who are bribing commanders. Some of them are our enemies who are working with La Republique. They are bribing them and building hotels, building very big buildings. Any commander, I want Ambazonia to know, if you see construction or life going anywhere in any area in Ambazonia, know that that main commander in that area has been compromised. That's why I am bringing a very strong message to the commanders on the ground who have been working secretly with these people and taking money and preventing the progress of the revolution and going after the people who really want to fight for the freedom of Ambazonia. Your time has come. We have written you off. If you don't, in fact, if you are very lucky, exile yourself. Exile yourself. Because let me tell you, we are coming for you. I want to tell you, all those people, I am giving this message also to the Ambazonia National Self-Defense Council and those people who are representing them. You don't do baby with commanders. Anybody who carries a weapon and has the right to kill somebody, you don't treat them as a baby. You don't treat them as a baby. You treat them as mature individuals, and you treat them accordingly. I don't want you to be playing with those people. If those commanders are not towing the line, tell them that they are wrong and tell them the consequences of their action. Any Ambazonian, no matter who you are, that goes against the right of the Ambazonian people, that goes against the rights of this revolution, you are an enemy and we are going to deal with you. Either sooner or later, I can assure you that. Mark my word, write it down in your calendar. We shall have zero tolerance to any compromising commander. We shall have zero tolerance to any chief. Let me tell you, if a chief starts compromising with La Republique, it means they are forsaking their people. And once you are forsaking your people, you are no longer a chief to those people. So this order is going against all the chiefs that are working with La Republique. This order is going against anyone who is in Ambazonia and does not support the cause of Ambazonia and is working against us. Any civilian who is going to betray our restoration fighters, this message is going for you. That's why I am calling on the civilian population in Ambazonia that look, see something, say something. See something, say something. When you see anything, instead of you betraying our restoration fighters, pick up your phone, send a text message to the Secretary Chris, send a message on WhatsApp or something. You know all these activists, send a message that something is going on, and we will relay that message. We don't want you, if you are too concerned that you don't want to deal directly with our commanders on the ground, send a message to the diaspora, and we are going to contact those commanders, and we let them know what it is. Most of our people are suffering not because of the enemy, it's because of the hands of traitors. Traitors have no place in Ambazonia. Traitors have no place in the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. We will not tolerate traitors. Let me tell you, if you don't get you now, we will get you eventually. We have been making a list of all these traitors, and we are coming after you. But let me tell you, Ambazonia believe in God. There is a chance for everybody to repent. If you have been doing very bad things, we are asking you to repent. If you have been a commander, you have been taking bribe, we are asking you to step down peacefully, or we will step you down by force. Step down peacefully and step aside and let somebody else take over. Because if you don't, I am telling you, nothing will stop us from stepping you down, and you might regret the way we are going to step you down. So I am giving a strong message: no reconstruction in Ambazonia. Even if it's a United Nations vehicle coming in the name of reconstruction, deal with it accordingly, destroy it.
All right.
We don't want any reconstruction until our people are free. Until our people are free, like my senior comrades here have said, that is not how you cannot be inside a war and you are calling for reconstruction. Which kind of reconstruction is that? Let me tell you what is happening. This United Nations or all these top level people, they are thieves. They want to steal the money of good heart people and nations who have made contribution. They want to steal that money, and they are using a pretext that they are doing reconstruction so they can steal that money. The Republic is broke, and the Republic need money. They want to use the pretext of reconstruction to steal people's money. It will not happen in Amazon.
All right, thank you, Bishop. Let's move to another subject, one which something that is becoming a phenomenon on ground zero. People dropping and dying like chickens. I am sure that Ntumfoin knows Chief Nkemayang very, very well, especially during the time you worked in Cameroon as a journalist. Chief Nkemayang slept and died. I don't know. I don't want to use the word died. He was killed. He was actually poisoned, and we are holding Bernard Okalia responsible for the killing of Chief Paul Foye. But this phenomenon is growing. We had Joseph Mbandam falling and dying. We had Barrister Sama just dying like a chicken. We had, what is this guy of the National Commission for Human Rights, Gogomo, somebody, or Banda, something like that, falling and dying. They're just falling and dying. What is going on, Ntumfoin? What have you learned?
Well, first, my condolences to the Kemayang family. Paul, I permit myself to call the chief Paul because he was my brother and a friend. This was a great guy. He worked very well for the cause of journalists. I think he's the founder of Kamasej, the Association of English-Speaking Journalists of Cameroon. I watched his video, emotional video, as he spoke up in defense of Wazizi at that time when they still had the impression that he might just be missing. That he had just been, well, at that time they didn't know he had been disappeared and murdered. But my brother Paul had some strong words about why this was not right and why this was just the kind of stuff that this government does. I think that there's one part of that video that really aches my heart, because Chief Kemayang was one of those who still finished that video by saying, Cameroon, and calling it their country. And why this was just the kind of stuff that this government does. I think that there's one part of that video that really aches my heart, because Chief Kemayang was one of those who still finished that video by saying, Cameroon, and calling it their country. And why this was just the kind of stuff that this government does. I think that there's one part of that video that really aches my heart, because When people treat you like slaves, when people treat you like not human beings, you don't have a duty to call them your brothers. You don't have any responsibility to look up to them as members of the same family or of the same country, especially when you have your own rights. And so I would say to the family of Paul, this is very, very hard. Take heart. He fought a great fight. He did what every journalist should do for another journalist. Wazizi will be in good company because this is a great fighter and he will continue to fight in the world beyond. I know that for the other people who have passed, and there are a number of reverend pastors, a number of lawyers who have gone, it is very unfortunate because I think that on the one hand, the church in Ambazonia has gone quiet as the people are getting killed. So you have lay Christians who are speaking up, and you have ordained ministers of the church who have run to rat holes and dare not open their mouths. And it is time for the church to speak up because they're being taken out one at a time. It is one bishop drowned in a river, the next day another one slaughtered, and the next day another one dying through poison. For the lawyers, I think the Minister of Justice or Injustice for La République du Cameroon was spot on when he said they will get hungry and go back to the courts. These are the people who put our people out into the streets, who told our people that something was wrong and that you should come with us so that we can fight to fix it. And our people apparently got more educated than their lawyers. They took up their defense better than their defense attorneys took up their own case. And they are prosecuting their own case now, while the lawyers who dragged them out have gone back. And I was in pain to see my brother, Francis Sama, Barrister Francis Sama, in that video, where from the Constitutional Court, he says that he was the person who pleaded with the lawyers to go back to work. To go back to work and do what? I mean, Barrister Sama fought a great fight. I was with him when we worked in the SDF. I wrote chronicles of how much torture he was undergoing at BMM. This is not a regime he should have served. This is not a regime that is worth being pardoned. I did not endure the kind of torture that he did at BMM, but I have a heart, maybe not good enough to pardon this regime, and I'm not ready to do it, and I will not do it in my dying bed. I will not do it in the world to come. This regime deserves to burn in hell, and everyone that supports it deserves to burn in hell.
All right, thank you, Doomfoin. Let's move to another subject, and this is a very, very critical subject. It's not about what you find on your screen right now, but it's about the targeting of some of the leaders of this interim government for assassination. Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the leadership of this interim government of a plot by French Cameroon, led by one Colonel Bankoy. I don't know whether you call him Bankoy or Bankoy.
Bankoy.
But the plot is being led by him, and right now we have learned that for the past 1 month, a team of French Cameroon assassins have been based in France, planning their final destination for the USA. And their destination for the USA is to target five members of the interim government for assassination. The 5 members we have learned they include Dr. Samuel Ekomesako, Professor Martin Ayim, Bishop John Egiawan, whom we see on the screen here. I don't know whether he is aware, and Irene Ngwa. Miss Irene Ngwa is among, and then yours truly is also in the list. These are the 5 people that a squad of French Cameroon currently in France. Currently in France is heading towards the USA to assassinate. Now, this is very, very dependable information that we've gotten. There is more to this, but for now, we are just putting this out there for Ambazonians to know what French Cameroon is cooking in the background. We just want them to know. We have good intelligence to know what they are planning. Colonel Bankoy, and there is another one, let me get the name. They've actually held meetings with some members, leaders of this struggle. We're not going into that for today, but they have also planned to move to the USA, possibly not carry out the hit job by themselves. They know what they can do. They can hire people to do the hit job for them. But this is information, reliable information that we have laid hands on, and we want French Cameroon to know we know their plans, and unfortunately for them, the USA is not a banana republic. The USA is not a banana republic as in La République du Cameroon. And so if they are coming over here, with the hope of carrying out their plot, we are very sure that plot is not going to work, because we have now become aware of it. The other guy who is part of the team is called Leopold Maxime Eco. Leopold Maxime Eco is one of the guy who is currently in France with Bankoy, perfecting their plans to either move to the States or send people to the States to come here and commit murder. Again, they have targeted Dr. Sako, they've targeted Irene Ngwa, they targeted Bishop John Egiawan, they targeted Professor Ayim, and they targeted myself. Bishop John, I will get back to you on this. I don't know whether you are aware of this or not. Are you aware of this? Have you learned of it?
Yes, Secretary Chris. The Undersecretary for Intelligence and Security had informed me of the La République plan. But what I want to say is that La République can plan all they want to plan. They are not going to stop any one of us. For me, they are not going to stop me from doing what I have to do for the revolution. I'm not any better than all my brave warriors that they have killed on ground zero. So nothing like that is going to stop them. If they have their way, let them come to America and see what they are going to do. Let them try their luck. But the God that we serve, I have told them, they can kill everyone in Ambazonia. This revolution will continue until we have total independence. We are ready to take it 40, 50 years. So said Chris, I've heard it. I'm not worried about it. Let them bring it on.
All right. Barrister John, you are very conversant with the workings of these French Cameroon killers. What do you think of this plot?
Chris, before I answer, let me correct the name. It's Bankwi, Emile Bankwi, Joel Emile Bankwi, and Eko. This Eko is the husband to the president of the military tribunal in Yaoundé. Now, having said that, this country that we are living in is a country of laws, and law enforcement is very, very intelligent. Is in place, and if they have been informed of this ploy, these idiots will be arrested. Let them try. They will not succeed, but they will not get away with the plot. That's all I can say. It is a very sensitive intelligence. We don't need to discuss it on the air. But all I know is that they will not succeed in America, and they will not get away with it.
Well, the fact is, now that we know, I just don't see how they can go through the airport with the identities out there.
Well, look, let me start first where my brother Chalindija likes to start. You know, when they came to arrest us at CRTV at one point, and Chalindija's name was not on the list of those who were being arrested, he said, please arrest me as well. There are a number of us who are volunteering to be killed as well, to be targeted, if they think that that will solve their problem. I live in West Virginia. Show up. This is gun country, people. You know, you come prepared.
And I live in
because we are
Maryland.
prepared.
And I live in Maryland, and they know me very well. Let them
We
come.
are prepared for you. You know, it's not that stuff where you can go show up in Amazonia and get away just freely. We will be ready for you when you show up. But that said, I also want us to stress that this is not a plot by La République du Cameroun. La République du Cameroun is incapable of putting 2 plus 2 together. They are incapable of putting a plot together. The French organized the abduction of Siseko Ayuktabe from Nigeria and the others. The French abducted our people from Tabara State. The French are going around killing our people around the world, like they killed the leaders in Switzerland. These are the people who are putting together the plots. These are the people who killed Silverio Olympio in Togo 4 days before he launched a currency. The ones who killed Tombabaya, the ones who killed Wedrago, the ones who killed Sankara, the ones who have killed at least 40 African heads of state. And how many dignitaries we don't know. They have been killed by the French, not by African leaders. And so this plot is being cooked up by the French Secret Service. This is their thing. This is what they do for a living. And they're hoping that with good relationships with President Trump, they are now going to be able to do this. And Colonel Bankwi is a war criminal. Eko is a war criminal. All of these people are going to end up at the ICC. I heard him say on the CRTV version that broadcast from Houston, called Cry Out TV, I heard him say on that thing that he works for the FBI. If he worked for the FBI, he would not open his mouth. You know, he is such an idiot that he could not open his mouth to speak about working for the FBI. If you work for your own government and you come and show, you say you work for the FBI, by the way, we are going to make sure that the FBI knows about that. In fact, we've made sure that the FBI knows about that. Because these idiots just go around running their mouths when they get a mortician interviewing them on TV, and they start running their mouths about the stuff they... I mean, come on now. We are ready for you. Show up. You will assassinate to every single Amazonian, and our corpses will fight from the grave, and our people will be free.
Well, I think they still do not understand what we mean by last man standing. Last man standing. We are going to fight and fight until the last person standing. If they think they can kill all of us to taking over the territory, they should by now understand that after picking up Sisiko and 11 others, the struggle did not budge. It just gathered momentum. And if they have ever been momentum in this struggle, I think this is the moment. And nothing that they think they can do is going to stop this momentum. They kill 5 leaders, 10 more will show up. And that's exactly what we are doing in this war drive. Let's talk about the war drive. I have learned that French Cameroon ministers, the presidency has ordered them to also conduct a draft of their own towards the war. Any of you can take off from there.
Yes. Let me answer that, please. Listen, everybody, every minister in Yaoundé, every power broker in Yaoundé that I know now is looking for an escape route. I don't see how somebody looking for an escape route with the small money that he has stolen, he will take and give you back to come and fight Amazonia. I don't see it happening. But, like they say, impossibility, the impossibility NEPA Cameroon. I don't know. Let them come on. If they raise billions, our $10 will fight them to finish. Let them raise the money. Because we know La Republique is broke. They are broke to the core. They have depleted their reserves in the central bank to pay salaries. What are they going to do next? They want to start raising money like they raised during football and they got missing in the air. Let them raise the money. We should not bother. We will continue to fight with our $1 till the last man standing.
Too fun.
Yeah, I think, every time they raise money, they buy some weapons and they show up in Ambazonia, we collect the weapons and we turn them on them. So let them do it because, we don't want to spend our own money to kill them. That's too much. They're not worth the bullet that we have to load up on our gun and then shoot them with. So let them bring some free weapons to Ambazonia and we will collect and deal with them appropriately. And, you don't have to worry about a government that raises just enough money to steal. Because they will no budgetary line in La Republique is ever executed per the prescription. So if they were raising money to buy guns, you can be sure that the money will end up in Mr. Bia's retirement account in Switzerland. Or will end up buying medicine for Brenda that will disappear.
No, I think they may actually use the money for his funeral and that of his wife if both are gone. As well.
Right. You mean he will get a funeral? You mean they will give him a funeral?
I thought you were not going to say that.
That man will never get a funeral. In which country? Because he thinks he's loved in his own country? He is not loved. When he will die, people will show up and pee on his corpse.
He will die, boss, Bo. He has died, Bo.
Well, I don't want to be the announcer of any news that is foreign. This whatever they are doing in that place, if you want to sort out what is confusion, then you try to understand the Republique of Cameroon. You should just allow them. These people, there are some Francophone activists who say they are governed by a picture. Okay? These people, if you just went in and told them that the police was coming, they will run they will run out of every place they are in. So these are people who are terrified by their own shadow, who are incapable of standing up. But we have been so blessed that they have demonstrated in the middle of this war that we have nothing in common, that we are not children of the same country, that we are not citizens of the same country. Because if we were, they would have shown it. So I'm glad that this differentiation has happened so clearly and our people have seen it. And it is time now for La Republique of Cameroon to find, maybe they can go and fight a war against Central African Republic and they may be able to win, maybe. But against Amazonia, they took on the wrong people, absolutely. They can ask Nigeria. Nigeria knew better not to fight us in 1953 when we left. So they can run this war for as long as they want. The French can empty out their own treasury like they did for the war in Vietnam. The results are always the same. The French lose.
All right. Comrade John, what do you have to add there? Are you trying to help them raise some money? I guess they are raising money because you guys in Momo raised lots and lots of money yesterday, and I think you are going to be challenged.
Yes, Secretary Chris, first of all, I want to say kudos to all the people and from Momo. The Momo people spoke very loudly yesterday, and I'm proud to come from Momo. Now, but I want to say that, Secretary Chris, these people, when there was that disarmament commission, they raised money. They raised money. Where did that money end? It ended in some pocket of other people. How far have they gone with disarmament? Who have they disarmed? Now, they want to say they want to do draft. Let me tell you this, Secretary Chris. Fontem Asongani, Le Français, Amani is waiting for them to do just what Senior Comrade Bo has just said. Because that was going to happen to them. Let me tell you, we have destroyed many armored cars of La Republique. That is impossible to happen in any war. I am telling you. And let them bring the armored cars. We will destroy all of them. Like I'm telling you, we will destroy all of them. And La Republique, like I'm telling you, is bleeding money, is bleeding blood. And they will let them do any kind of draft they want to do. Comrade Bo has said it all, so I'm not even going to say, let them do it. We are ready to collect. And let me tell you, the next level of Ambazonia Restoration Forces, the world have not heard. The next level that the Ambazonia Restoration Forces are getting into. Just wait, we have a surprise for Ambazonia. That's why I told you last time that we are ready to fight this war for 40 years. 40 years. We are learning. Ambazonians are very intelligent people. We are learning and we are making adjustment very fast. Secretary Chris, you can see that in 3 years, we have done something that other revolution could not do in 8 years or 10 years. So we are learning and we are catching up. But let me tell you, anything like victory, it will not go to La Republique. Never. La Republique will not see victory. France, like you have said, they can empty all their scoffers, whatever. They will not see victory. There's only one solution to this revolution. If La Republique want to spare life, save their own life, let them come to the negotiation table. If they want to save money and at least save the little bit that they still have, let them come to the negotiation table. If they do not, La Republique will become the poorest nation in this world. In fact, La Republique will go back 60 years or 100 years in the back. They will never, never, ever see good if they don't settle this matter now when they still have a little bit of life and when they still have small cash in their pocket. Let them go and do draft and come. We are waiting for them. Thank you.
Okay, into point. This train is moving, I think, very soon to your neck of the wood out there in Boyo. I hope. What are you hoping? What are you planning? What are your plans out there? This thing is not about the interim government. It's about making sure that our communities are defended. Is Boyo ready for the draft?
I will not speak on behalf of Boyo because you know how it is organized. I am the messenger of the fund, so the palace will know if things are going well, and they are going well. The people of Boyo are ready. We should remember one thing in this war. I salute when the money comes in, because when the money comes in, it's telling our people that our people in the diaspora have made it. They have found some resources and they want to commit those resources. Now, even when the resources don't come in, it is not because people are not committed. It is because the pocket is shallow, because the pocket has a hole. But we should remember that the sweat and blood capital that is invested in this war, including by our people on the ground, is the kind of investment that trillions of dollars will not buy. And so while we contribute money, we can always remember that, you know, it is that sweat, capital, and blood that will make it through. The people of Boyo, you know what you have to do. You should do it to your best possible means. I will be supporting in my own way. We just have to know, my brother, also, the other thing is we have a great opportunity here in the middle of the draft and in the middle of everybody mobilizing to also bring ourselves together, to also mobilize ourselves, to understand that, you know, we will fall behind a leadership, sometimes with which we don't agree, that we will, in the interest of the people of Ambazonia, determine that our people have to march in a particular way and send the right message to the enemy with respect to the fact that the bugle has sounded and our people have responded to the call to war, and that they have done so together. Because as a united people, we will send a more powerful message to the world as to what we want to do. It is that same unity that we should see with respect to the negotiations. Ambazonia will have only one position. People who are trying to sit out the negotiations are sitting out for good. They will not have another negotiation, because as Ngumne did the case on behalf of the people of Ambazonia in Banjul, Bo Herbert cannot go and do a new case to undo the case that Dr. Ngumne did on behalf of the people of Ambazonia. So if you want, you can sit out the negotiations. The negotiations will proceed. If you want, you can sit out the war. The war will proceed. If you want, you can sit out the draft. the draft will proceed. But leadership is called for at this moment amongst ourselves and across Ambazonia. We need to find a way to bring all of our people together and make sure that every wing of our restoration forces is supplied in full and that we can fight La Republique from 1,000 fronts. Make it impossible for them to be able to defend themselves. And when we hit them, we cannot allow them to regroup and target our people in Bafut while the rest of us are sitting. Every time they go out to target one of our localities, that is when we should attack everywhere else across Ambazonia. And we should not worry about FACO also. We should not worry about FACO. The last piece is always the best. No war was fought and won by winning the capital first. The capital is always the last. It is the price for which we fight. So let us take our time. When we take on Boya and we take on FACO, they will not understand what has happened because our people would have trained where you trained before you take on the capital.
Okay. I think we had such a wonderful time here. Thank you all for your contributions. I will look forward to continuing with this some other day. And so I will let you guys off this set for now, unless you got something, somebody has something else to add before we go.
I've got a last thing to say, Secretary Chris, and it is with respect to, because every time we do our productions, there's one thing we should make very clear. Our people in Gokutunjua the other day, and you posted the video online on Twitter, everybody retweeted, we played it on Ambazonia Calling. Our restoration forces are demonstrating the way you do war and you do diplomacy, the way you respect the Red Cross when it crosses your territory in the middle of war, and the way you respect the United Nations. What we have said on this program, and we need to be very clear, is that we will continue to respect humanitarian assistance being brought to our people. The world has to recognize that it is La Republique that is denying our people that humanitarian assistance. And the United Nations needs to understand that they are not targeted. But we will not allow the United Nations to be used by contractors who want to show up and say they're doing reconstruction on behalf of the United Nations. We will not allow that to happen. The same way we are not allowing soldiers of La Republique du Cameroon who wear United Nations caskets and try to pretend that they're UN forces. We will not allow anybody to abuse the emblem of the United Nations or of humanitarian organizations, which La Republique has tried to do in the hope of sneaking behind our defense lines.
Yes, Secretary Chris.
Yes, Bishop John, go on, please.
Yes, I want to, before I go off the set, I just want to let our Ambazonia Restoration Forces to know that I love them and we love them and we are behind them. We understand the sacrifices that they are making. We understand the difficulties that they are going through. But let them know that over here, we are also making sacrifices. We are fighting on many fronts, like Senior Comrade Bo has said. ACT is there. The Ambazonia coalition team, they are doing their own work on the diplomatic front and they are doing a phenomenal job. I think the Ambazonians who need to come together have already come together. I do not believe that everybody will come together. So I'm telling my people on the ground that if you hear somebody come start telling you, oh, there must be unity, the unity that is supposed to be in Ambazonia has already been achieved. ACT is the proof. So there is no way you have 100% or everybody working together. Some people will choose to be enemies. Some people will choose to be enablers. Some people will choose to be slave agents, and they are there. So I am telling Ambazonia, say we are right where we are, and with the draft moving forward, let us march fire and continue on our destination, which is Boya. So restoration forces, rest assured, don't become burnt out, don't become discouraged. But one thing I want to tell you, all those who have gone to ground one to Nigeria and they are there, count them out. Count them out. Those who, especially those who go without any mission, don't take them very seriously. Some have been there for 1 year and they say they want to come back. Be careful with those type of people. According to the Bible, you cannot leave the plow and go there you want to go and bury somebody. No. You stay on the plow and let the dead bury the dead. That's what the Bible says. So you cannot be fighting a war and you go out and then you say you want to come back. What were you going to do? I understand when people take break and do something. A lot has happened to our restoration fighters who say they want to take break. Immediately they say they want to take break, something bad happens to them. 2 of our brave fighters have just been killed because they wanted to take break. My restoration fighters, please, put your head on the fight. Stay on course. No matter what, we are all making sacrifices and we get to Boya. When you stay the course and when you are fighting for the people of Amazonia, when you are fighting a just cause, the Almighty God is with you and he will defend you against all the arsenals of the enemy, even the internal enemies. So that's what I want to say to my restoration fighters.
Thank you.
God bless
Thank
you.
you. Barrister John, please, the last word.
Yes, I'd like to send revolutionary greetings to all the restoration forces on the ground, to all our comrades in the diaspora who are demonstrating that Amazonia must be free, come rain, come sun. I want to congratulate Momo County for the job well done yesterday, and I'm calling on all of us to be ready on Sunday to support Donga Manton, which we all know is a very vulnerable county, but I am counting on every son and daughter of Donga Manton to come on Sunday ready for us to make sure that we raise the funds necessary to execute the war in that county. I thank you, Secretary Chris, for inviting me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure to have you all on set. We will do this again, and again, and again until this war is over. Thank you again for joining me. God bless you all.
Thank you too, Secretary Chris.